Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Unleash Your Inner Healer Virtual Summit. I'm Dr. Robin Futoran, your host, and the intention of this virtual summit is to bring you new tools in health, longevity, and happiness. What more could we ask for, right? And our subject today is utilizing chemical-free, animal-free products, including baby products. And our expert today is none other than author, motivational speaker, holistic health proponent, Sue Shifrin-Cassidy.
Hello,
Welcome, Sue.
Robin. Hi. Thank you for
Welcome.
inviting me to be a part of this series that you're doing. I'm so flattered and
So
excited to share what little pearls of wisdom I might have with somebody in your audience. That's great. I'm happy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I'm sure you have a lot. I'm going to tell viewers a little bit more about you.
Okay.
So, Sue Shifrin-Cassidy, now National Executive Vice President for Arbonne.
Executive National Vice President. That's important in what I do.
Oh,
because
okay.
I've shown other people how to duplicate what I do. That's what that E is there for. Okay.
That's important. Sharing chemical-free, animal-free products for many years, and she was previously a professional model and songwriter. She wrote songs for artists including Smokey Robinson, Meatloaf, Cher, Michael Jackson, and earned a Grammy nomination for her contribution to Tina Turner's Private Dancer album. Wow.
That was my early life.
Yeah. A mom, an instrument-rated pilot, author of 2 books, including Lifeboard, Follow Your Vision, Realize Your Dreams, is currently writing a Broadway musical alongside doing her work with Arbonne. Right. That is so cool. Welcome, Sue. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. What else do you want to tell us about you before we start?
Well, I like to tell people I'm old enough to know better, young enough to do it again, and they'll add ... better. And I want people to know that nobody's got a shelf life.
Yeah, well, you know, in the business you've been in, I mean, that culture is so heavily embedded in youth and looking right and being right and all that, right?
Well, I find, yes, when I was in it, most definitely. I'm a dinosaur now in the music business. That's what my son's always told me. He was right. But what I found is now it's not just the music business, it's our culture in general. Everything is so youth oriented. And I mean, we're getting to the point where if you're an embryo, you're going to be too old. You know, it's just really, it's working backwards, and nature doesn't work that way. And we have to get on with our lives and embrace who we are now as we are and where we're going, who we're going to be in the future. And that starts right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know what, why don't you share with viewers how you transformed yourself from even being in the business and then going to be a stay-at-home mom for all the years that you were, and then becoming this self-made, successful entrepreneur, motivational speaker.
Wow, you just summarized everything in like 3 seconds. And I had to go through hell to get here. It took forever. The truth is, yeah, I was a songwriter for 40-something years. And then miraculously, it was a miracle. I was told I could never have a child. I got pregnant. Wow. And my mother had just had a devastating stroke. So the timing, I was too old. I had all kinds of physical things that made it impossible, and there it was. So you have to believe in miracles. That's one of the things. And then because I was a late mom in life, okay, I was 41 when I got pregnant with my son, I decided I wasn't going to miss this. And so I quit my profession. I stopped cold turkey and didn't work again in the music business for 17 years. And then it was time to go back to work because my son was driving. And then I found out nobody wanted me. And so I got a lot of life left in me, and I got to figure out what to do. And lo and behold, a new business model came to me. And first I didn't understand it. And I said no for nearly a year. And that's because I didn't understand it. And so I tell people, you know, sometimes people say no to you, or they'll say things to you. And the reason they're doing that is because they don't necessarily understand what you're doing. It's not about you, and we personalize everything. So the first thing we have to do in anything in life is remove ourselves from what we think other people think about us, because firstly, they really aren't thinking, except maybe in the moment, they don't care what happens to us, and they are not going to pay our bills. And we have to get on with our lives and do what's best for ourselves and our own families, and put other people out of that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I started this business, and I knew nothing about skincare or ingredients. I spent a lot of money on stuff, and I really thought because it was so expensive, it had to be really, really good. And then I found out, no, it just was really, really expensive stuff. I was paying for the packaging. I was paying for it to be in a department store. And I was paying all those steps that you went through the middlemen to get to the ultimate, to the consumer. And I didn't even realize that if a product's at the front of the store, it's more expensive. If it's at eye level, it's more expensive. I didn't know any of this stuff. I just knew I was going to hand over my credit card and I was going to walk away with the stuff. Right. And it was like, I say to people, like, we're all like lemmings going over a cliff. Say, here, take my credit card. I want this. But we don't realize that we're paying thousands of times more than the product is actually worth, because we're paying for all the middlemen. And the world is changing now because of what we're doing right here. The internet has made it easier for people to go directly to the manufacturer and have a far better product come directly to your door. So that's what I did, and that's what I do. And I've reinvented myself when most people have retired. And I love what I do because I get to help other people.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, one of the things you were saying, you were talking about in coaching and guiding people is kind of longevity and health through setting goals.
That's right.
Having meaning and purpose.
Well, believe it or not, our brains are goal-seeking organs. And without a goal, we will die. Same without touch. If we don't have touch, babies die. So the brain it's like a heat-seeking missile. It's called teleological. And it's a big word. Sometimes people can't even say it. But what it basically means is that our brains are like heat-seeking missiles. When they fire a missile and it locks on a target, it goes all over the place till it goes boom and it hits the target, and that's mission accomplished. We're like that too. Our brains are like that, but we don't realize that that's what we're doing. So if we're not very focused on where we want to go, we'll go, instead of going this way, we'll go over here. And that's great if you choose to go over there, but not if you don't want to go over there. So we have to mind our minds, and we have to remember that, well, it sounds a little crazy, but when you tell your brain, that means you are not your brain, right? So that's that whole spiritual side of things. Right. And really and truly, we have to remember that we are telling ourselves what to do. Whatever we is, whatever we are, whatever that is, it's bigger than this.
Yep. So what do you teach is like the greatest tool for people to keep themselves focused on a goal and not be distracted by so many things?
Well, we're always going to be distracted by life, because life comes at us and nobody's got a crystal ball for their life. So please don't give anybody else a crystal ball for your life. They don't have one. Nobody's got one. Basically, you have to determine what it is you want. And then if you don't get it in the end, it's probably because the universe really didn't want you to have it. And if you do, it's because it was meant to be, and you set that goal, you did all the little stuff on your dials, and you set everything, your intention, and you took the activity, the action to get there. If you sit in a chair and you say, gee, I'm hungry, and you don't ever get out of the chair and go to the kitchen, you're not going to get fed. Well, it's the same thing with goal setting. You set your goal, you decide what that is, then there are little tricks I wrote a book called The Life Board, Follow Your Vision, Realize Your Dreams. And it was basically a goal setting system, like a business plan for your life. Okay. And so it's basically dividing your life up into segments like family, love, yourself at the center, and all these different travel, all the different things in your life that matter to you. And then basically using imagery, whether it's pictures from a magazine or something you might find online, or pictures of your dream family, you know, it's that imagery. And the reason that's so important is because, again, what happens is it triggers a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling sets off sparks in the brain, and that tells the brain, uh-oh, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to figure out how to do it. Now, you never know. You don't know how your brain's going to figure it out. And you don't care. You don't want to bother yourself with that, because you just gave, I call my brain Fred. I said, Fred, go find whatever it is we want. Okay. And then I let it go.
Yeah.
But what I do is I write out also little 5x7 cards, gold cards.
Okay.
And I use imagery in my words. I don't just say, gee, I want to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That is not specific enough. We must be extremely specific with what we want, because we might say we want something, then we get it, but it's not the way we wanted it. It's not like I'll make a lot of money, but I went to jail to get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to be very specific. And what I do is I say, like, for instance, I love making X amount of dollars in my business by sharing great products with other people, and I get to be incredibly philanthropic because I make so much money, and I'm, you know, and I get into the story of it, and I get excited about it because I've been very explicit using words, action words like love, and I'm so excited I can hardly stand it when I open up my check and I see what it is every month. And so then what I do is I turn the card over, and this is something that I've used and I've shared with other people. I make a contract with myself, and I'll go, I accomplish my goals, and then I sign it with my signature. Yep. So I make a contract with myself. And then the key is to read it in the morning when you get up, and read it at night at least twice a day. You might have it on your refrigerator. You might have it in the shower. It might wherever you are going to be using your eyeballs, and you might even record them, your affirmations, I would call them, and your goals. Listen to them. Listen to your voice. All of that is pounding the information into your brain. Tactile, writing it is another level of activity to the brain. Hearing it, okay, seeing it, you're using all of your senses. And then what you have to do is, like I said, you've got to take action to get there. Right. So you can sit and go Name Yoho Renge Kyo for the rest of your life, but it's not going to fall out of the sky. So basically, you have to take what I call inspired action. And inspired action means it's inspiring to you. There's a difference, I find, between motivation and inspiration. And you know, you'll go see a motivational speaker and you'll come out and go, yay, I'm loving this. And then you go home and like an hour later, you're toast. Okay, you're back to life. Inspiration is different. It's a pilot light that gets lit in you, that stays lit, and it grows in you because you are nurturing it by doing all those things of knowing you're worthy, knowing you deserve, knowing you're doing the stuff that needs to be done to make it happen. And like I say, you do all this, it might take a lifetime to get there. It might never happen. That's irrelevant. Because what happens along the way when you set a goal is you are 80% more likely to have something much greater than you would have if you hadn't set that goal. 83% actually. So goals are, otherwise it's like driving around in the car and having no destination. You must know where you want to land. And that's what your goal setting is.
Wow.
So that's what that's all about.
That's amazing. Vision board, writing it down, watching, looking at it regularly, affirmations, and taking the actions.
Yeah, and most important is getting yourself excited, like to feel it, like what it would be like, not out in the future,
Mm-hmm.
See, the most important thing also, and I'm so glad that you summarized all that. You got to act as though it's happened to you already, and that's crazy, right? To think about something that hasn't happened and pretend that it has. Well, that's
Yeah.
key, and that's how you get your brain all excited, because you act as if. You
Right.
act as if, and they say if it's meant to be, it's up to me. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be looking for other people to do it for you, to
Mm-hmm.
save you. I am an instrument rated pilot, and I had the first time I ever flew in an airplane alone. That was pretty scary, as you can imagine. But it was the most incredible thing that ever happened to me, because it was the first time in my life I realized that nobody else could do it for me. Nobody else could fix it. Nobody else said, "Hey, let me do this. Oh, I'll take over."
Mm-hmm.
Nope. I had to get myself up. I had to get myself down. And I honestly believe that every person in the world should learn how to fly an airplane, because to be alone in an airplane, that's where the pedal hits the metal.
Yeah, love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love what you said. It's really important about, uh, it's not even so much about reaching the goal, achieving it or not. It's about the adventure that you create in setting the goal.
Yes.
And it can go in so many different directions, unexpected ways. And it is about living the moment of the adventure, however it turns out.
And you know what else it is? At least you're not a victim of your life.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there waiting for life to happen to you. You are an active participant in moving forward in your life, wherever that leads you. Because you might think you want to go there, you get to a fork in the road and you find, wait a minute, this led me here, but that
Mhm.
looks really interesting. I think I'm going to go take a look down there. And then that leads to somewhere else and somewhere else. It's a tapestry, Robin.
Right.
It's a tapestry. And we don't know, we could keep weaving, and then we
Mhm.
run out of thread, right?
Right.
And we go, well, and we make a mess, and then we get some glue, and we fix it all up, and then we start sewing again. And in the back, it looks really messy and awful. And then you turn it around, and it's a tapestry. That's our lives.
Yeah.
That's how I look at my life. I don't love everything in it, but it's a heck of an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah. That's beautiful explanation. And not loving everything is part of a rich life experience too.
Absolutely. Well, you don't learn from all the good stuff. You learn from the boo-boos. You
Exactly.
learn from the tough stuff. That's where the lessons are. Or you see, a lot of people say, "No, I made such a mistake. It was so," but no, it's only a mistake if you didn't learn anything from it. It's a lesson.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I love this. All this motivational, inspirational talk. It
I know,
wasn't
it's
the place
surprising.
I thought we were originally starting at, but important. It does bring health and youth to be doing things that we love and want and desire. And so many, people sometimes they think that having desires is like a bad thing. You're not supposed to desire things, but that's what starts us doing things, right?
Look, when we're babies, the first thing we start to do is desire to put our foot in our mouth, right? Okay, that's kind of where it starts. And
Yeah.
then we roll over, and then we go, I got to get from here to there. We figure that out. Then we have to stand up and walk. This is how we learn.
Yeah.
And any business or anything, we have to start by being really, really bad at it.
Yeah.
And then we get better over time. And then after a while, we go, oh, I remember when I couldn't even do that. Now it's like I can do that with my hands tied behind my back and with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And that's life.
Right. Absolutely. And in retrospect, we can look back and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I've done all that."
I'm telling you, I really understand that. And flying was the best. Almost everything I know about life, I learned flying. I
That-
learned all about going off course. I learned about correcting early, that if you don't, you end up where you don't want to be. And that means you have to monitor and be present in your life. And
yeah.
you can't just sit there and go. And that's what makes people old, Robin.
Mm,
People sit there and they don't take responsibility, and they don't realize that they are a participant in their life story.
right.
So that's what makes for an old body and an old mind,
Wow.
in my opinion.
Yeah. I Remind me another time that it's not my interview, but I'm gonna give you an analogy between the way that a plane functions and our immune system.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Okay, I'm going to shift gears here a little bit.
Okay.
And I know that you're a proponent of the chemical-free, animal-free skin products and makeups and all that. What is it in standard makeups and skin products that's bad?
Oh boy. Well, let's put it like this. The products that you find in a store have to have a shelf life of between 8 and 10 years. The FDA in this country, in the United States, and you may have an international audience, but certainly in the United States, doesn't monitor skincare or vitamins. So there are a lot of ingredients that are there specifically to have a shelf life.
Mm.
And the cosmetics and skincare and vitamin businesses have gigantic lobbies that go to Washington and work on the behalf of those big multi-billion-dollar companies. Mm-hmm. So it's not about better skincare or better food or better anything. It's about money. Mm-hmm. It's all about money. Okay. So in the United States, we ban 13 chemical ingredients. The European Union bans around 1,300. Oh, the products, God. Yeah, that's all. But that's a lot more than we do. But the products that I use and have used for the last over 12 years now, mm-hmm. voluntarily ban, are you ready for this? 2,000 ingredients, toxic ingredients, chemicals, artificial dyes, flavors, scents, parabens, phthalates, which are all linked to all kinds of anomalies, a feminization of boys in utero, hormonal imbalances, uterine cancers, breast cancers, are all related to parabens, phthalates, and those are simply in products to keep them from separating so they have a shelf life. One of the other things that we add perfumes and things to products is to disguise animal rendering. And if you go check your labels, Robin, and you look for the words tallow, Tallow, stearic acid, or natural ingredients, you wouldn't know that that was roadkill, euthanized animals, expired meats, parts of animals that were too sick to get into the food chain. I could go on and on and on forever. Oh, how about oil that's used in restaurants, cooked with over and over and over again till it's black, and then the restaurants take it and they send it to rendering plants, and what happens is it's terrible. It's really, I've gone and looked at this. This is why I can speak to it, because I won't tell people anything I haven't actually experienced myself. Mm-hmm. So you look and you'll see like animals, pets, cats, dogs, birds, snakes, everything. And they're put into these, they're ground up in things, and they're put into vats and cooked to no standard temperature. And then what happens is, it's like when you make soup, you know how when you cook it, the fat rises to the top, and we skim that off and we eat the soup. Well, it's the other way around in the cosmetics industries and skincare. We keep the fat at the top and we throw away the soup, or they do. And that fat is then processed into tallow, stearic acid, okay? And it goes into the product. It goes into plastic. It goes into shampoo, lipstick. It's in just about everything, and it's to keep the product from separating. So it's pretty nasty stuff. And then, a lot of people are gluten intolerant, and they don't realize that when they've given up all the goodies that they love, that they can't have anymore, if they buy a product that has gluten in it and they put it on their skin, or they wash their hair with it, or, lipstick or whatever you put on your skin is literally in your bloodstream in under a minute. So you just poisoned yourself with gluten. So we also go, oh, it's got mineral oil. And people don't know. I didn't know any of this. Yeah. That mineral oil is simply crude oil that's been refined. The cosmetics oils companies buy it from the gasoline companies, and they take it and they refine it, and then they put it into a product, and it gives it what's called a glide. So when something goes on your skin, you go, ooh, that's so nice, the way that just went on my skin. Check the label. And if it's mineral oil, what you did was you just wrapped yourself up in saran wrap, because the molecules of mineral oil are too large. It's called occlusive to go into the skin. So if you've breathed any bad air, or you've had something to drink that has a lot of chemicals in it, or you put something with phthalates or parabens on your skin, it can't get out because it's trapped by that mineral oil, that coating. And so what happens is we build up what's called a toxic burden. And it starts in our bloodstream. It goes into our fat cells, which protect our organs. It's there to protect our organs. But after a point in time, it's just like a big bathtub with a little drain. And you turn on the spigot, you just keep throwing that water in, and eventually the pipe backs up, and the next thing you know, you've got water on the floor, okay? Because the bathtub just fell, went over. That's what happens to our bodies. And we get all kinds of skin conditions, ailments, inflammation, what have you, because we built up a toxic burden.
Wow.
Yeah.
And these things are in the baby products too. In
everything. It's in everything, unless you have a product that doesn't. And then you've got to be very careful, because we need science as well. If you have a product that is just like right out of the pot, and you put it in a little bottle, it will eventually, very, very quickly, within a week or so, it will start to develop bacteria. And so you have to have the right mix of science and ingredients to be able to give it some kind of stabilization. Some people say to me, are all your products organic? And I go, God, no. Organic means at the source, and you don't want the radioactive kelp from the Sea of Japan in your products. So we find the best source possible. And if it's another organic source, we'll use that, or we'll use organic water or soil, or we'll go to the next best thing, or we'll take the product off the market completely till we can source it at the best source. Wow. We just won't offer it anymore until we can re-offer it with the standard ingredient policy that my company Arbonne has.
And the products you work with, they have no chemicals, no
chemicals or artificial ingredients. We're made out of botanicals, vegetables, and fruits. And then, like I said, like with science. So for instance, if you bake a cake, if you put the flour in the bowl and you put the eggs in the bowl and you stir it up, that's not going to make a cake until you put it in the oven, and then it starts to cook. Same thing with our products. They work synergistically. We have, like I said, banned 2,000 toxic ingredients voluntarily. And I challenge anybody to find a better product on the planet than ours. And we've been around 40 years.
Wow.
This company's been around 40 years. And the policy of the products is just getting better and better and better, because science is getting better. Everything is getting better. And scarier, out there in IT. But it's really quite interesting to see, just since I've started using these products, how they've been improved over the last 12 years that I've been using them. And I think my skin looks pretty good. I hate to say it, but I turned 70 in April. I don't feel it. I don't think I look it. I've never felt better. And my skin is, I think you can see, it's pretty good.
Like Benjamin Buttons, you keep getting. Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
We're running out of time already. I can't believe it. This has been such a great interview. I want to ask you one last question, and it's one that I ask all the experts at the end of the interview. And it's, what is it that you think is the most significant factor in our ability to heal ourselves physically and emotionally?
What is the biggest factor? I think we talked most of this call about it. It's what you feed your mind. It's finding a sense of purpose. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to be not about you. And we have to find a sense of purpose of why we're here. And we get to a point in life where you can only have so much stuff. You can only do so much, and then it becomes about giving it away. It's about the legacy that you get to leave. And I truly believe that that's why it's a manifest destiny, Robin.
Yeah.
And that's where that's how we are created,
Mm.
to improve and to give, make it better for the people who are coming after us. And I pray that will continue to be the case.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here and sharing your knowledge and experience. Really blessed to have you be here. And I want to tell viewers that Sue is making an offer of doing this raffle. And it's a raffle for a chance to win a package. It's 30 days to healthy living package. You want to talk
Yes.
about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
30 Days to Healthy Living. It's a whole meal plan that is created by Arbonne. And it's got you also eat real food. You don't starve yourself. And basically, it is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And to whoever, well, here's a package of the protein mix right here. This is vanilla. We have vanilla and chocolate. And there's tea. There's a detox cleanse that we do in the third week. We have energy fizz sticks that we love them, and they're not Red Bull or anything like that, but they're also they help with cortisol, and they help relieve stress, and they're appetite suppressants. Anyway, when the person wins this, they will be added to a special private Facebook group that does nothing but 30 days to fit. And every day, you don't have to participate in any way other than just follow the recipes and follow the information. You'll learn so much about the body and toxicity and detoxing and why water is so important and what sugar does to us. You'll just learn it every day. You'll learn a little bit. And at the end of 30 days, you can choose to re-up and do it again, or you know how to do it and you just go on and do your merry little life.
Nice. Wow. What a great gift. And so to participate in this, if you go to Sue's webpage, which is arbonne.com/PWS/Sue Cassidy, there's a button there that's called Get in Touch. And if you click on that button and write in the word raffle and fill in your information, then you'll be added to the raffle.
And by the way, the retail value of what I'm offering is $444.
Yeah, nice.
So, and then if somebody chooses to move forward and like wants to do this again, I show people how to get a big fat healthy discount, like 40% off.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And there's a link on this video that you can go directly there. And you'll also get an email with the link to go to the page to get the gift. And also to be able to connect with Sue and learn more about her and what she has to offer, which is a lot.
Well, Robin, you know what? I just love this stuff. And firstly, I love you. You're just wonderful. And I'm always just so excited to see where you've been next and are going next or have just come from. We are kindred spirits when it comes to that stuff. So Thank you again for inviting me to do this with you. I love talking about myself, I guess. This has been really fun.
Oh, great. And thank you, viewers, for being here. Don't miss any episodes of Unleash Your Inner Healer. I want to see you tomorrow. Dr. Futoran, your host, signing off. And I thank you for being here. Thank you again, Sue.
Thank you, Robin.
All right. So
bye.